Hey everyone, welcome to this week's episode of the Lead Her podcast. Today we have two guests for the first time, which is Amy and Hannah from Cleah Creative. Welcome.
Thank you.
So I met these ladies back in about 2017, 2018. Met them in an old gym that I used to work in, and you guys started training and getting into weight training then, and I just really seen their relationship flourish. And I've also been following their journey since that gym, because that gym shut down actually because of COVID,
so sad.
which is very sad. It was an amazing gym, but it shut down during COVID. But the amazing thing with social media is that you can keep in touch with people, and you guys have been through a hell of a ride
I know.
since then.
Yep.
Yeah. Do you want to give everybody a little intro to who both you are and what it is you're doing now?
Sure. So, like you said, Hannah and I met back in the gym. And I think a lot of people think that we've been friends for years and years and years, when really we've not been friends for that long.
No,
but
I
it
think
feels like forever.
It feels like forever.
So, yeah, we met in the gym, became gym partners, and then we both worked in similar industries. So I was in marketing and Hannah was in a design agency.
Yeah.
Two different agencies. And so we used to go in and train every night together, and we had similar struggles. So we would understand if someone had a bad day, we would understand the projects that we were working on and things like that. And then what happened from there?
It was like, so we both just relied on each other every night to turn up to the gym. So it became that kind of introduction thing. We kind of found out who each other were. And then we, at like 6 o'clock every night, we didn't even need to text each other. We just knew that at the gym at 6, that was our time. And then obviously when you train with someone, you build a relationship with them really quickly, because you're kind of like, if you're struggling, they'll kind of support you in a way, and then they'll push you through, like if you're on your last rep, and you just talk about everything. And obviously because we had that kind of shared agency life, and if you work in an agency, you'll know what we're talking about. We would like come in, Amy would sometimes come in the gym and start crying. And we both had to like get through our sessions. Obviously you chat so much through a session, you then discover a lot about each other, and then that was our kind of relationship at that time. I would say that part of our life was very routine. Yeah. Like we worked a 9-to-5 job. We worked for an agency that wasn't our own. So there was that structure and pressure, but in a different type of way. Like when you left the doors at 5 o'clock, you didn't necessarily work that job anymore. You could go to the gym, you could switch off and then become that other person. So that was like our 9-to-5 routine. So we'd go to the gym together every night, and then I guess our relationship changed when, it sounds like we're in a relationship. I know. Our relationship went to the next level.
And we developed Cleah Creative.
Yeah.
Do you want to let everyone know what that is now?
Yeah, so during lockdown, we both got made redundant, and it was like literally sink or swim. Like we'd both also been promoted in our jobs, and that carpet was pulled from under our feet. We'd both been promoted. I just got a house, a mortgage. We both got new cars. We were like climbing that corporate ladder, and that's what we were comfortable with. We loved that kind of drive to just keep climbing that ladder. Never would we ever think we'd be working for ourselves. Like that, I always thought I'd be the worst at that. I have no like management for myself, so I always thought I'd be terrible at that. So we both got made redundant during COVID, and that was a really dark time for us both. I think they always say that you can't go, like, you have to go down to go back up again, but I think that was like rock bottom for us. Like every part of our life had done like a 360. So that routine that we had, that was completely different. The gym shut down. So everything that we knew, our workplace, our gym, our relationships that we had, I'd also then moved out to my own place. Like our whole life had just flipped. And I think I really struggled with that, like to get back into routine, your sense of purpose as well, like going from that like career driven, like I running a design studio, like you were the same with your market, like all the kind of marketing campaigns and stuff that came with that was like our purpose. So then having that pulled from under your feet as well was quite a struggle. So your sense of self-worth then completely drops as well. You start to think like, I'm not worthy, like this has happened to me for a reason. So when it came to building Cleah, that wasn't a choice that was made out of confidence. That was a choice that we had to make. There was literally no other choice at that point. we literally had to start Cleah. We were applying for other jobs. Amy went to work in Tesco's.
Yeah, I loved working in Tesco's.
Not.
I actually
She
did.
did. She
I
did.
loved it. I loved it. It was my childhood dream.
Oh,
Stacking the shelves
Yeah.
and on
No
the checkouts.
way.
I loved it. I think I only loved it because I knew it was temporary. I think if I thought I was going to be there for years and years and years,
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't have enjoyed it as much. And it was throughout a time where people were stuck indoors on their own.
yeah.
And I was still able to go out and socialise and just keep a bit of a routine,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
So that was good. And then I always remember getting a text from Hannah.
We started Cleah off, and then you left that job.
Yeah, so we started Cleah and it was very much a part-time job at the time.
Yeah.
So once we got secured in another job in the same place, we worked there 9 to 5, and we thought actually Cleah was it was growing a little bit, so we thought let's keep this going.
Yeah.
And we'll do it in the evening. And then we quickly realised that we were trying to take calls on lunch breaks.
Yeah, it was...
We were trying to ask
I'd
all
be in
our
my car,
clients.
literally like, yeah, that's fine. In the car park of my work, like, this is crazy.
Asking everyone, can they do a call after 5
Yeah.
p.m? And it just got to the stage where we had work sitting there and we just weren't getting through it.
Yeah.
And then we were burning out so quickly.
Yeah.
And I remember we had the conversation that if we actually want to make a go of this, we're going to need more time.
Yeah.
We're going to have to leave this 9 to 5. And that was scary because we just went from having no job
Yeah.
to a secure job
To actively leaving a job.
to then saying 3 months later, I quit.
Which was like, and at that point, especially when you've spent so long looking for a job, that was like a panic thing. To then be in a job, which quite safe, to then actually say, I'm going to leave this job, that was really scary. And Amy was on holiday, and my mum, I phoned my accountants and I was like, look, is there potential for me to be full-time? And our goal at that time, just get me full-time. And we literally had a plan that was like, get Hannah out of jail. And that was our plan. It was, and then I always remember my mum was literally like, you guys need to do this, you need to do this. And Amy went on holiday. My mum was like, you're doing this, hand your notice in. And then I texted Amy and I was like, can you send me a get out of jail card? And Amy wrote my resignation for me. Like, and this is actually sets a tone for the rest of our Amy wrote my resignation letter for me and emailed it, and it's like the subject line is get out of jail card.
Wow.
And then I literally remember handing that in and I was so scared, and then I handed that in and I've actually got the video because I started this journaling thing, and I guess Cleah's stories are a continuation of that. It's like a very public journal of like what we're doing, where we're up to, but I started that very early. So I started videoing. I had no idea what was going to happen, but I was in the car park and I just handed my resignation in. And I videoed myself and I was just like, this is so scary, like the scariest thing I've ever done. And my mum was like, don't worry, it's fine, you've got this, you need to do this now. And my accountants were literally like, if you leave and you use that work that you've got booked and use that early, you can be full-time.
Yeah.
So we did it.
We did it.
We did it.
Yeah, so it gave everyone a huge insight into where
I think
you started.
it's important. I
Yeah.
think the back story of Cleah is very important to where we are now, because
Yeah.
I think that really kind of, we drive a lot of our inspiration from where we've been.
Mm-hmm.
So that whole backstory, it's quite prominent to kind of our mindset.
And we're going to dive into that so much more today as well, because like if people were just to follow you today, they'd be like, oh my god, these girls are killing it, and they look amazing, and they look like so clean and so fresh and so confident. And the big thing for this podcast as well is to get a little bit of behind the scenes and how we do all struggle with like lack in self-belief. We can take hits like redundancy and horrible bosses and people that make us feel like we're not good enough, and it's like conversations like this today to help people know that you guys have done it, that you guys can do it too, but also some tools and stuff that you guys have used that have helped you kind of rebuild yourself and build like Cleah Creative. So can you just give us an insight into like what you guys actually do and who you help? That was my first question.
We're not very good at
That
keeping
story.
concise, are we?
Yeah,
Once
so-
we get going, you just need to.
That's
We
it,
keep rambling and
Yeah.
rambling, so just stop us at any point.
So Cleah is essentially, we are brand building specialists, and that is what we do. We essentially build brands, and that can sound very vague, especially if someone doesn't know what a brand is. So your brand is essentially everything that is built around your business. Your business is the body, as we like to call it, and your brand is the soul, and your brand is the reason that people will choose your product over someone that may do something similar. So for instance, your brand is the lasting impression that a business will have, and we help write stories for brands. We obviously do design. I think a lot of people come to us and they ask us for a logo, and that's usually the first thing that is like, what's your price for a logo? And a logo is what we do, but it's part of the whole package. We build brands for people.
Yeah, perfect. Amazing. So let's take it back to the gym days, like when I first seen you coming in, and it was always so funny. I remember sometimes like Hannah would come in and you weren't there.
Yeah.
And she just looked like a lost puppy, like, oh, my friend's not here today. And it was just so cute, because like I think like there is that belief that like everybody in the gym doesn't want to speak to each other, and sometimes you do just want to go in and get that session done and leave. But I do feel as well I've met a lot of like lovely people in the gym, and like you guys said as well, you almost have like this strange different relationship, like you don't know who's partners and like all their friends, all their partners, all the family, that you can almost have a different conversation because there's no biases, I think. And you're also exercising, you're releasing endorphins.
Totally. You've got shared like a mutual, and I think that's actually the foundation of our relationship, is we have shared mutual goals of what we want to achieve, because it started. And I think it's difficult when you, especially with the kind of gym and fitness, if that is part of your lifestyle and it takes up a bit chunk of your lifestyle, you have to schedule time for that.
did go to the gym and I was crying and I had awful days, but I still look back on those days as great times.
Yeah.
So it's so true that now we are living, having a great time, that we need to actually appreciate that.
Totally. And I remember you were in a spin class, and I literally came in the spin class crying because someone had dyed my eyebrows wrong. And I just like
have those worries.
I'd just gone to an appointment, literally jumped on a bike beside Amy in the spin class, just crying. I was just like, it was really weird.
Who was that in a spin class?
I know.
Yeah. So I think it's like really good for people listening to know that you can meet friends in different places, like the gym, and have that understanding of each other.
Totally. But gym anxiety still exists because even to this day, like I moved through to Glasgow, that was like so new for me. And like I joined a few different gyms to try and kind of get that, like, I don't know, like I needed that back in my life. So joined first gym and I was like, I hated it. I was literally like, don't know anyone here. And then it's that whole like, and I think I was looking for that Amy as well. Like you would smile at people and they didn't react the same way.
Is that weird though?
And then I was like, oh, this is really strange. But gym anxiety still totally to this day exists. And Amy and I, gym is part of our life.
Yeah.
But it's still, when you go into that gym, it's still quite a nervous place, but you need to have that confidence in yourself that you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's just a different environment.
Yeah. And I guess like once we do get older, we'll talk about this later, but life does get busy, and actually, do you know what, you can't maybe go at the same time as your gym besties. But it was really cool as well that you both kept each other accountable, and I think it was like that highlight of the day that you were like, oh, I'm going to see my friend tonight at the gym and get a good workout. You've got the endorphins of that, and again, you'd probably be in the gym a lot longer back then as well. Like it probably wasn't an hour workout. No. You guys were in there for ages.
Yeah, we were. And I remember
it's like lived in the gym.
Yeah, that was the routine.
Yeah, it was.
Finish work in the office, walk to the gym. We would train, go home, eat, and bed.
That was my routine. But the accountability thing, even though we don't train together, we're still accountable together for the gym. So the gym and fitness and like outdoor movement is such a huge part of obviously our life now, and it's really important to how daily we function within the business. And we make sure that we are going out for our daily walks. Like that's something that we both need to break up the day. Oh my God. See, if I don't get out my walk, I am literally like, I go insane. Like I need that like hour out the house. And we'll usually take it, we've both got our Apple Watches. So we actually, like we both get notifications when we've both finished any type of workout. So like I know when Amy's finished her walk, and that'll maybe make me think, oh, I need to get out my walk. And then we'll maybe
still do things like that with
friends. Totally. You can set challenges and everything. We don't.
Yeah.
We don't need any more challenges in our life. But yeah, like is that like no, like if I get notification Amy's finished a workout, you said to me the other day, you were like, how many calories did you burn? Remember? I was like, it probably wasn't that much. But like we both have that, like it's just a little notification. It's just that little like, oh, I should be doing that. So
so you don't need to be going to the gym together. You can use other stuff to kind of still keep yourselves going and supporting each other. And I think it's always really nice when someone's like, oh, I see you've done that. You know that way when like nobody's your friend on the Fitbit, or nobody knows you on Apple, or you don't have a coach. It can be so easy to go, well, nobody cares, nobody's going to know, but you know yourself.
Totally. And that's actually the biggest, like I always think, why are you trying to impress other people? Like it's yourself that you need to feel comfortable with. And doing it for yourself is the main reason. It doesn't really matter if anyone else is doing it. It's for you.
But it's also really nice to have like a little angel on your shoulder.
Oh my God.
You got your steps out today. Like I love that. And a lot of our members say that as well. It's like almost having like a little bit of a cheerleader.
Oh, totally.
Or just someone on your side, or just someone that believes in you. It can just like totally push you to kind of do stuff that
absolutely.
you maybe sometimes would not do in a bad day or in a bad week, if it's like your period or something like that and you're feeling sorry for yourself. You're like, right, okay, and then go up and get it done and do it. So for you guys, it was amazing to see that, but then I seen the transition, like obviously lockdown, the gym shut sadly, so I didn't get to see you guys in person, but I was always like that creep on Instagram. It's like, oh, they're starting, what's this thing you are starting on Instagram? Like I could see like all these snippets, and it's just been so cool to watch it. So when Lola's here as well, so we've got a fourth girl in the podcast
joining the girl gang.
So I seen that the gym shut, and I didn't know you guys were going through all of that, and you were getting made redundant. And I think you both had some bad times where you did take a hit in your confidence with work. Do you want to chat a little bit about, it's up to you how much maybe people would say to you guys to make you feel low and make you lose confidence? Is there anything that comes to mind?
Yeah.
I think you don't realise how much your confidence has been knocked, I don't think, until you come out the other end of it. And especially the redundancy process, for anyone that's been through it, they'll completely understand that
It's the worst process in the world.
Yeah, and they try to give reasoning as to why you are one of the ones to be made redundant.
Yeah,
and
they
I
have
think
to. They have to give a reason.
And it is just putting it down and putting all your faults out there in black and white to say this is why you're losing your job. And some of them can be completely, come lie down. So, hi.
Sorry, if you're listening, not watching, Lola's climbing on top of Amy right now, so you might hear a bit of panting in the background. It's not us, it's Lola. Okay, sorry.
So, and I think, what was I saying there?
Redundancy.
Yeah, redundancy. So they do the company will go through a series of markers with you to tell you basically how rubbish you were at certain things.
Yeah.
And although you try and say, okay, rise above it, when that's all you're getting fed,
Plays in the back of your mind.
of course it knocks your confidence, and it can sometimes be contradictory as to what's actually happened.
Yeah.
So for me, we both
went through
had
the same
promotions
Yeah.
into a better role, and then that's just when they're telling you actually
How bad you
weren't good at your job. So
No, and it was the same for me as well. Like, I'm not very academic. I am dyslexic, dyscalculate, and I like fully own that. But like design and art is like my thing. Like like that's where I like thrive. Like I feel like my brain's like made for that type of thing. And when it came to my role, I'd been promoted as well. I was looking after 9 designers, so they must have given me that responsibility somehow. So like then I got pulled into this meeting, and I'm getting told that I don't have any design conceptual skills. And I'm like, but that's me, that's my identity. Like, I'm a designer, and I've been told that I'm not a good designer. I basically, and they will literally have it in front of you, like markers of how low you, and they score you on this. Like, it's a scoring process. Like, and they score it, and it's quite personal as well, because they score you on like things that you would never even have thought. So you're basically losing your job, and you're getting told how bad you are. But on that second flip side of that, you've also got to be applying for jobs, writing your CV out, trying to tell someone how good you are at certain things, when in the back of your head you're thinking, but I've just been told, like, and I've genuinely believed for the longest time that I had no design conceptual skills. Like, I didn't actually think I was capable of being a good designer again, because they'd literally shot everything that I knew.
And
so
you do start to believe it. You think, okay, maybe I'm not supposed to be doing this. Maybe I'm very good at a lot of these different things.
And that, like, I feel like that was like, so we're both going obviously through the same process at the same time. So we were both like on the phone to each other, like trying to like basically just crying to each other. We were on like 3-hour phone calls like every day. We were each other's like rocks during that time, because no one else got it. Like boyfriends, partners, they could see it, but they never got it. They fully just were like, okay, cool, you've not got a job. It's okay, you need to get a job.
Yeah, can I ask a quick question? Like, when, like you guys are like 27, 28 now, you were a lot younger back then, because that was still like, what, 3 years ago now?
Yeah.
Do you feel like in a little way, maybe because you were younger as well, I think when you're younger you do lack more confidence 100%. And clarity, and you've got less evidence at what 100%. You are bloody good at, that I feel when, like, for me personally, being 34 now, honestly, you after 31 you forget what age you are, but like I feel so much more confidence and clarity in what I kind of do. I do have blips, obviously everybody has blips where you're like, oh my god, what am I doing, like how can I do this, but I feel like when you're early 20s, like, you
don't know who you are anyway.
No.
And we were actually like speaking about this the other day, how
of that a bit.
Even when we were recording our voiceovers, like Amy was always the more shy one, and like I was like, can you just do that voiceover? She just did it, and I was like, oh. Okay. And then like we were even talking about, like, in terms of like our confidence, like if someone now is to tell me I have no design conceptuals, I would literally laugh at them. I'm like, I make money from this, so. That's
powerful.
I know my strengths, and you know your strengths now, and even now, like with the girls that work with us at Cleah, if anyone was to come and tell me, you know, or treat them a certain way, it's a fundamental concept of what we've built at Cleah, is we never want anyone to feel that the way we were made to feel. We always are so supportive, so encouraging to anyone that works with us at Cleah, and we just think it's so important to
I know, and that was actually a real turning point for me,
Yeah.
because after I had sat in my role where I was made redundant
This
from...
wasn't with Cleah, was
No,
it? Right?
no.
We'll just make
No,
that
no.
clear,
Make
because
that
I know the
clear.
behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh yeah, right, that was it.
No, this is not with
So
Cleah.
when I was at my role that I was made redundant from, I think looking back, I was younger. I would let people speak to me in a certain way that would be belittling, and then you would take all of that on. And I sat there like a mouse, quite frankly. I would never speak back. I would probably get angry and then cry. That would be the journey. Whereas we sat in this meeting with the other company that we both worked for, and
got this, you've got this, you've got this, you've got this. And then she literally just was like,
I just stood up and I said, you're going to have to find someone else to do this job.
and I was
It's
just
not
sat
me.
there like,
And I thought, oh my goodness, for the first time in my
Yeah.
life, I put my big girl pants on,
Yeah.
got
Felt
myself
good.
out
and
that
that I
situation.
think was a real switch for us.
Yeah.
Like that was
So we've got journaling.
yeah.
What is it? Wealth, health, self.
Yes.
We've
Yeah.
got each other.
Each other.
Each other is like
Or
a huge emphasis.
Someone else that is your hype girl. Be
Yes.
around that hype girl more. If
Yeah.
you're around people who make you feel you're still shit and you're not good enough, then
Yeah.
don't be around those people.
Yeah, like your energy is so sacred, and like I'm like an energy person. Like, and you know, as if I'm in a meeting and I'm like, I don't want to be here, I will just remove myself, because like your energy, you need to protect your energy.
Yeah.
If you're with someone, if you're around someone and they feel like a pull and a drain on your energy, that's really precious. Your energy really is precious, and like just remove yourself. You don't need to be around that.
Yeah.
Like, and there's polite ways to do it, but your energy is really important, and you need to protect that, and removing any toxic energies from your life. Being around your hype girl, whoever that may be, or hype boy, whoever that
hype guy
is.
as well. Absolutely. We're not anti-men.
No.
I feel like my podcast sometimes gets that way, and I'm like, we don't.
No,
we love
there
you,
is
but-
hype boys out there.
Yeah.
We are predominantly surrounded by hype women. But yeah,
I
what
read
would
this
maybe
quote and it was lovely. It was something, I'm sure other people have probably heard it, and it says, if you hang around with 5 smokers, you're likely to become the 6th. If you hang around with 5 gym goers, you're likely to become the 6th. And it's so true. If you surround yourself with people who have similar interests to you, like getting out walks, being active, going to the gym, and just being generally positive, it does start to rub off on you.
Yeah, absolutely. We have done other podcasts before where we've discussed how you can find those kind of people, just in case right now you're sat there like, well, I don't know anyone like that. There is a previous episode that's about finding your kind of hype people, so go and listen to that if you feel that way. So what's maybe 1 or 2 more things that come to mind that just help you both rediscover that confidence and overcome what you've been through? Anything
So
else
I
come to mind?
did a little bit of CBT.
Okay.
And it was actually really interesting because it's all about trying to reprogram the way you think. And for so long, you could probably think a certain way, that I'm not good enough to be doing this job, I shouldn't be sitting here, I'm doing X, Y, and Z wrong. And what that type of therapy teaches you is to look at the facts instead of what your brain is trying to tell you is the facts. So if you say something like, I'm not good enough to be sitting in this meeting,
yeah.
oh,
And we did therapy at the same time. It was really traumatic for us. We actually both did therapy at the same time, and we were both learning all this stuff. For me, I'm a bit more spiritual, and if there's your spiritual girlies, they'll relate to me. I am much more, like, Amy's very factual, and this is where actually our relationship is perfect. Like, Amy's analytical, she's factual, whereas I'm living in dreamland. For me,
You're just more connected to nature and like other things. I get that.
For me, it's my massive thing, and I always tell people, is trust the timing of your life. Like, divine intervention is a wonderful thing, and like, for me, you will not be presented something unless you can do that, or you have the possibilities to achieve further. You trust the timing. If things are maybe not going the way that you think they should be, it's maybe your thought processes, maybe you will only be presented with what you can do. And for me, trust the timing. There'll be a reason for everything. It just may not make sense at that time. And yeah, that would be my trust the timing.
Yeah, the universe is sending you it for a reason.
yeah.
It's teaching you a lesson,
Yes.
and you will overcome it. And I think again, when you look back to like stuff you maybe had to deal with in your teenage years, like, you have been through it before, but maybe in a different way.
Yeah, totally.
And you can deal with more than you actually realise, and it is, you are going to come through a different person in a better way at the end of it, but it's just so hard when you're in it.
Yeah.
But that, I love how you both got different points of view, more factual and more spiritual sides, because some people struggle with journaling. I've had so many people say to me, I can't journal, I just don't get it. But then, like you said, the factual side, no one's ever said to me about CBT, that's what you said,
CBT.
in a factual way, because when you say that, like, it is so emotional, everything in your head is so emotion, isn't it? I'll just share one of mine really quickly. Like, I've got something from when I was younger that I think nobody cares about me, And see when like I'm really struggling, I go, nobody fucking cares anyway. Like, and it's so emotive, and in my head I'm like, why are you saying that? Like, that's
you
not
need to
a fact.
retrain that.
Yeah,
It's not
and
a fact
that's
at
where
all.
the CBT would try and change that, and to try and get you to think, okay, but I've got a partner that really cares about me.
Yeah.
My dog
It's the facts.
needs me, it cares about me. So you're actually flipping that emotional response with what's the facts to back that up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But with the journaling thing as well, like I don't get traditional journaling actually, and like people always say to me journal, and I always wrote down my thoughts or voice my thoughts. Like I'm very much a voicer of thoughts. Always, like I do not keep anything in. I will just voice. And I didn't realise that actually is a form of journaling. It doesn't need to be so write questions, answer questions. Just write whatever you think, or have an outlet, whatever your outlet is, whether it's videoing yourself and talking to the camera. You don't need to publish it anywhere.
Yeah.
Like I think there's such a thing around this is what journaling is, but journaling's whatever you make it, and like whatever works for you. Like I wouldn't say my method of journalism, I'm not a journalist, but like is like the way that it's supposed to be. Mine's is just a different outlet.
Yeah.
And it's just about having that outlet.
Yeah, and I think another thing for me is that when something negative happens, we always try and think this is a lesson.
Yeah.
It's a lesson. And we joke sometimes that we're fed up learning lessons.
Yeah, as our,
Yeah.
like, and the main thing I think we've learned is sometimes, and again I will say it's like the universe will come in and clear a path. Maybe you didn't want to be cleared, but it will come and clear that path because you've got a higher purpose of something else that's coming in. And through our 3 years in business, which isn't a long time, every single time that's happened, it's made sense. So whether we've like lost a client, we'll then have another really big client come in, and then we're like, Pop, we really like that. You're like, but there's a reason for it all. And again, it comes back to that trust and timing thing.
Yeah.
Although it feels really scary at the time, you just have to like knuckle down, ride through the waves, and it will all make sense.
Yeah, and it's part of the story. Like, look at
Totally.
that story that you guys can tell
Oh my
today from
God.
all that pain. So if you're sat in pain right now, me and Joe say this as well, like, see when things like funny things happen to us, like on holiday or whatever, we're like, oh my God, how did we get into this position? We're like, oh my God, this is going to be a funny story to tell in the future, and it'll be all fine. And it is really hard to trust that. And I think another thing as well is like sometimes you can be so close to giving up and breaking, and that's when you get the breakthrough.
Yeah.
So I always say to people, even if that is like a weight loss goal or a toning up goal or whatever as well, is that like you'll see that weight staying the same.
You need
and
to
it
break the
doesn't
mold.
move. You need to just keep
Yeah.
with it and trust yourself, because you'll quit before you see that next weight bracket or that next weight go up in your deadlift. You need to keep on going, because like what's the alternative? You quit
Totally.
and that you never really ever see what you're truly capable of by kind of doing these
Yeah.
things. So find your hype girl, journal, maybe get a bit of therapy or CBT as well. So that's loads. And I think, again, you've both been blessed with, you've already mentioned your mum as well, who was another hype gal.
Massive, yeah.
So it was a good credit for you guys to take
my mum
risks as
pushed
well.
me to do, like, she was like saying like just go for it all, like I'll support you. And it is just good to have that sounding board that just on someone else. I guess I've learned the hype girl thing because my mum's always been my hype girl, so I've then just took that on and like
I love that. I love it. It's so good.
Yeah,
So special.
biggest
isn't it?
cheerleader.
Yeah, it's a
We
special
did get
talent.
Hannah's mum a Momager t-shirt for her Christmas.
we did.
That's so
Momager.
funny, because Joe's mum does his admin, and someone went and said,
Oh, my mum does nothing
your
for us
mum and
apart
Jer-
from hype girl.
Yeah, but someone says, oh, your mum and Jer, and we were like, we have never heard that phrase. So now, that was only
Momager.
recently
Yeah,
that
my
we
mum
called her
likes to
that.
think of herself as Kris Jenner of the Kardashians, but she does absolutely no work for Cleah. She just
It's amazing.
is hype there,
Yeah.
which is
That's
a huge part of the job.
Yeah. She'll be listening. You need to send this
I
to her
know.
to listen. 'Cause she'll be like, look at me. All her, send it to all her friends.
I
like,
know,
oh, I
she
have
will.
created.
And then we'll follow like all of our clients and like all their stuff.
Oh, that's so supportive. That's like me and Joe. You know how you see that video? It's like, why are you sharing that you're doing a marathon? And it's like, it comes to this one sheep that's watching. Have you seen that one?
No.
Well, like our sheep.
Oh wait, yeah.
Have you seen it?
And he's standing in the field.
The little sheep just. Which is amazing.
But I think there's a huge emphasis, and something that Amy and I always talk about, we are so lucky to have each other, because not only we give two different points of views. Amy's obviously more rational than me, I'm very reactive, but we both like deal with things. Like sometimes we need to be reactive, but we also really trust each other's guts. So if we're like, actually, we only act on something if it's 100% both of our guts. We will not just say one's 50, one's like, we'll not do it. It needs to be 100%. And we know each other's strengths in different situations as well. So if it maybe comes to a situation that I probably shouldn't react, Amy's got a very good way of wording it to me, being like, maybe we need to sit on this for a bit longer. And like David could say the same thing and I'm like, shut up. Whereas Amy's got a very good way of saying it to me. And then whatever happens, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so glad we listened to you. And then there'll be some times where I'm like, no, we need to react on this. And Amy's very like analytical, will think through it. And I'm like, no, we just need to react. And then she's like, okay, I trust you. And then we do it. And then I'm like, see?
I think gut confidence as well. You've always got that wee bit in you.
And we
just
know
has that more belief in yourself as well.
We know how to work each other's strengths so well. I think is so important. Like finding that person in your life, whether it's your business partner, your best friend, like your partner, like any capacity where you know each other's strengths to support each other when you don't have that strength.
Yeah, cool, amazing. So one other thing I wanted to cover, you guys, and this is what I love with this stage in life, like we've seen, like I feel like I have seen the younger versions of you to like becoming the woman you are now, but it's like we said at the beginning, it's so nice to romanticize to those gym days and be like, oh my God, they were good days and you had so much free time and you didn't have mortgages. And a lot of women listening to this are in a similar position to you guys, where you're struggling to tick all the boxes and you're spinning so many plates, and there's almost this change in identity where you maybe can't train as much as you used to. And you had a chat about it. It does make you feel really guilty, and you really struggle with that. Do you guys feeling in that place right now?
Yeah, I think it's something that we're still struggling with, to be honest. Thinking back to the gym days where we were consistently training, consistently had good habits for a long time. And I was thinking about this the other day, actually, if COVID did play a big part of the shift in routine, where we couldn't train in the gym. We still trained at home, but it was different. And then it almost just continued, I feel like a downward spiral from there. And then when we started the job that we do now, there still wasn't that 9 to 5 routine. So I know for me, I feel a bit lazy because, I'll go to the gym later. I'll do it later. I was always a gym morning person for a while. And then, I'll go later, and later comes and you don't do it because you're halfway down a to-do list that needs done, and that feels like a bigger priority. And then before you know it, that day rolls into the next day, and then the next day, and then you've only trained maybe once or twice that week. And I'm still trying to get to grips with, that's okay now. And maybe this all or nothing mentality, I don't have to smash out 6 gym sessions a week. Actually getting in 3 or 4 is where I'm at right now. But looking back to that person who was so consistent, I miss that. If I could have an ounce of that person, I would take it in a heartbeat. But there is just so many more plates now that we're spinning.
For me, it's energy as well. Like you don't realise that when you work a 9 to 5 job, you don't, it's not that you don't necessarily care as much, it's just a different type of pressure. Whereas like if we don't do certain things within our job, it doesn't exist. Like whereas we're constantly carrying that pressure. So when it comes to like time, I was saying to you, I go to the gym at like after work, and that's like my breakup between work kinda, and then like I'll go to the gym, I'll come home, get showered, have food, and that's like my like reset. And I need that reset, otherwise I will just keep working all night. And if I gym in the morning, I feel like I'll get showered and then I'm chilled, Hannah, and I'm like, I need to get back in. So I'm like very like structured like that. Like I will work, gym, and then chill, and then that is my routine. But it's the energy sometimes, like, and I feel like if we've had a really busy day and I'll get to like that time at night and I'm just like, I don't have the energy to do this. And I'm the same. I feel that pressure of, I feel like I need to be 100% across the board always. Like I don't do anything less than 100, but I can't be 100% across the board. I can't be 100% in work. I can't be 100% in the gym. I can't be this like house that's 100%, like girlfriend that's 100%. Like it's just not possible to do it all. And then your friends, like, where do they come in? Like, I don't know. Like you just can't do it all. And I think I get really beat myself up when I really struggle to not do it all. But then the gym is the first thing that'll drop, which I need the gym. Like actually when it comes to your mental health, your physical health, like the breakup of your day, like that's the only place where I don't have my work phone, where we're not in really talks. Like that is my space where it's not work. So it's really important to have that.
Yeah, I think you've both just been through such a huge transition, and like you said as well, Amy, like you miss that version of you, but if you were that version of you, you wouldn't have Cleah.
Yeah.
It's like you are a different person now and you're living a different life, and life is supposed to evolve and it's supposed to change, and like we've said before, we don't even have kids in the mix of this, and we're like already feel like we're kind of drowning, but it's such early days of your career. And I say this to women that come to me maybe a couple of years after you guys and are like in a shit place, and I say to them, you have to do what you have to do to survive. Whether that has been having a family or whether it's been building a business, you need to do what you need to do to survive and to make that business thrive. And you do need to let yourself go sometimes, and to focus on these things, build that thing, get that thing where you want it to be, to then being like, right, now we need to look after yourself. But the good thing about you guys is that, like you said earlier, and you place and you've got more help or you've got better systems, there will be coming times and for you to then step back up and become a bit of both. But sometimes you need to kind of lose that little part of yourself to build something else.
Yeah, no, totally. And I think when we first started Cleah,
Looks like Lola's talking now.
Who's talking? The dog.
She's even looking at the camera.
I know. When we first started Cleah, I really lost myself in fitness because I had to put, it was like all eggs in one basket. So that was like what we needed to do at that time. And then when it came to, okay, Cleah was in a more stable place, we were able to then release the pressure a wee bit, start to try and find that balance. But I don't think we've got that balance, or maybe we're looking for the perfect balance, but maybe that perfect balance doesn't exist. Or maybe we are doing the perfect balance of just trying, but I don't know.
It's a work in progress.
It's a work in progress.
It's a work in progress. And I think I was saying to you, it's for the biggest thing for me when I go into the gym now is my ego, because I still feel like I should be lifting the same and moving the same as I once was, and it's just not the case.
Whereas I'm getting to the gym and I'm like, I'm just so proud that I'm here. I am here.
Ticking the box, doesn't matter what I'm doing.
And that's the way it should be.
Well, no, because I talked myself out of it. I'm like, I've had a hard day today, I don't need to push so hard. And I'm like, no, you do.
But I think it's still quite good to be in it right now, and we're not just telling people the solution and the answer to it, and to be like, it's actually okay to be like, actually I don't have an answer for it right now, because I am grieving that old version of myself. But I think you do just need to give yourself credit that you're still doing the steps. And you might get a wee workout here and there, so you're still doing something, so don't take that away from yourself.
I know.
But I think when you are doing, like, skipping it completely, I think you would have Hannah then to be like, no, get your steps and build you back up again. So it would start to affect your mental health, and that's then it's like, what are you actually doing it for? But it will change, it will evolve, and it will still change in the future for both of you as well. So yeah, I think that was, felt like I was going to add something else in, but can't remember.
It'll come back to you.
Yeah, anything else for you guys?
I don't know. I don't know.
No. But it is good for people listening to know this is normal, to go through
Oh my
this.
God, like it's, I think I said to you the other day there, I felt like I was running on a treadmill and I was like, the treadmill's getting faster and I can't keep up. And I'm like, when I hit that stop button, I'm like, I'm off. Like, there's just some days where it feels like that, like work is getting busier, building up, like it's just getting crazy. You know, you maybe have got goals, like I'm getting married next year, like I'm like, I want to look good for that, but then work's also getting crazy, so I'm like trying to up my fitness goals, up work. I just can't do it all, and I really, then when that happens, I'm like, what was our attachment thing? So I'm an avoidant attachment.
That's right.
So if I can't do everything, I will just let go and just like completely avoid. I think we've both got the same attachment style.
Yeah. And again, like looking from outside in, like I appreciate you both being so honest today, because people look at you and be like, oh my God, you both look so fit and so healthy, and like you look like those swans, like we were talking about. You look like swans, like perfectly floating across, like perfect jackets, like looking so organised and amazing from the outside, but underneath we're all like like literally paddling like hell to keep afloat and to make things look streamlined.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate you both being honest and so open today and sharing all these feelings, because I just know you guys have been through it. I've fucking been through it, and I know so many of our members have been through it as
and
well.
it's not until you start talking about these things that you really relate to people, and you're like, actually, you'll be able to see part of you in that story somehow. Like, and we always go back to that duck analogy. Like, we have always said that our whole thing is we always say, like, just keep swimming. I was even saying it coming along the road. Like, we'll always just be singing to each other, like, just keep swimming, just keep. And that is like our, like, I don't know, theme tune for Cleah. And like underneath, we're just like,
So accurate.
Yeah.
So accurate.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people at home will be thinking exactly the same, and it's just so nice to hear it from different people sometimes, for sure.
We'll always get these messages as well, like, how did you guys do it? You guys look like we don't know what we're doing. Like, and I think that needs to be super clear. Like, it's not luck, because we work really hard, and I know that. We put in so much hours and we know what we're doing. But we know what we're doing in terms of our job role, but with actual running a business, trying to do it all, we don't know what we're doing. It is literally that luck of the day. But yeah,
still trying to figure that out.
We don't have the answers.
Yeah. And I think when you're a little kid, you look at people like in their 30s or your mum and dad, and you always think, oh, Lola's coughing something up.
She could be sick.
I don't know.
Furball.
So I've lost track of thought from my dog.
You said when you're little.
Yeah, you always think your parents have got their shit together.
Yes.
And they actually don't. I feel like I am now actually my parents' parents, and like they still don't know what they're doing, and they're in their 60s and stuff. So we all don't know what we're doing. We're all just getting by.
Oh, yeah.
We do know what we're doing, but we also still don't know what we're doing. So just quickly to finish off from both of you, who is a female role model you both had growing up? One each, or a couple each. Who was someone that inspired you to go, yes?
For me, I would say my mum. But yeah, she's always been like my kind of cheerleader. But I would say more kind of recently, and like my mum was always a consistent. But I would actually say that then you come in, like,
stop it.
But it's that, like, it's that it's that purpose. Like, I was thinking about this going out a walk the other day there. Like, if I didn't, Amy literally manages me. I need management, and like, but it's also that like accountability again, checking in the morning. Like, I would say that we, like, in CrossFit. Oh my god, like I went to one CrossFit class with Amy. And like I was blown away. She is amazing. Like, I literally lay on the floor the whole time, and I was just like, go quick. Like, and I was literally like, you're so impressive right now. Like, I'm so impressed by you. But yeah, like Amy's very resilient, and like we'll just kind of like shake things off, probably not in a good way. Sweep it under the carpet. But we'll just like be like, it's fine. Let's just keep going. And I think that's very admirable. Whereas I just like,
Oh, that's so lovely. That's so sweet. And I do not feel like that on the inside, honestly. I do not feel like that. So one of my biggest inspirations is not actually a female, but especially from a career standpoint, is my dad.
100%.
So he has got to be the most hardworking guy I've ever known. And he started off his career as a young, shy little guy and worked his way up through a company. I managed to retire relatively young, and he's just done everything for the right reason. So from a career standpoint, definitely him. And he is always there when I need advice. And
when we need advice.
So yeah, as cheesy as that sounds, probably him from a career standpoint. And definitely Hannah for your cheerleader, good energy.
Good vibes.
Yeah. Outlook on life. Yeah.
Livy on Rose.
Right, perfect. You guys are amazing. Where can people find you guys, like more from you today? You're happy for anyone to contact you both and ask you more questions if they're struggling, but where can they find you both?
Absolutely, on mainly Instagram, I would say. And we absolutely love it because we've built up such a lovely community on Instagram. No one really sees me on Instagram.
It's through choice, by the way.
Choice.
I'm constantly trying to get her to come on, but she won't.
You will probably see Hannah on our stories quite a lot.
I'm the Cleah girl.
And it is so nice because we get people messaging us just randomly about something that they've seen or something that they're worried about.
We've had people come up to us and be like, come up to
Sorry.
So literally come up to Amy and be like, "Are you the Cleah girl?" And she'd be
Yeah.
like, "I know who you're thinking of. I am, but I'm not the girl."
Yeah, I'm not the girl you're thinking of.
But it's a really nice place.
So-
Instagram and our website as well if you want to read more about what we do.
Yeah. Perfect, amazing. I'll pop that down in the description, so if anyone wants to check out the girls, they can. But thank you both for being here today.
No, thank you so
thank
much for
you.
having
For
us.
being so honest, and thank you, Lola, for interrupting us. But thank you all for listening. I hope you've enjoyed today, and it just gave you that good feel, that good hype girl feel that we can do it, you guys can do it too. Thank you for listening as always, and I hope you have an amazing week.